Welcome to the Anthropocene, the period of time in which human activity is altering Earth's systems. No, it's not an official term, but that's because the International Union of Geological Sciences goes based on rock layers. But I'm not interested in rock layers, no shade at geologists. I'm interested in what else makes a period of time distinct. Increasing environmental destabilization coming from human activity and exploitative extractive systems. So that's what's happening now. But do you know what's next? My name is Isaias Hernandez and this is Queer Brown Vegan. My platform brings you environmental education that's focusing on the intersectional issues rather than ignoring them. If you like what you see here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it helps me grow my channel and bring you more educational content. There's a different future on the way, but right now the Anthropocene is really sad. The number of young people reporting feeling anxious, depressed, afraid, or guilty about climate change has risen as high as 70%. Half of young people in one study believe that humanity was doomed. So where are we supposed to go from here? I'd like to tell you all about a different future. Let's think farther into the future, maybe 100 or 200 years where R2-D2 is alive. The ways we live now can't be sustained. So the ways that we live farther down in the line will have to be environmentally sustainable, either by choice or by necessity. We haven't created that world yet, but I believe that the world will be created eventually. I'm not the only one that thinks this. Environmental scholar and philosopher Dr. Glenn Albrecht came up with a name for the future of the Symbiocene. He's also helped create words like solastalgia, which is like the homesickness you have when you are still at home and your home environment is changing in ways that you find distressing, as well as terra fury, which is anger targeted at those who have commanded the forces of Earth's destruction, protective anger. These unique words help us understand the human psyche in a deeper way. Symbiocene as a term can do the same thing because how are we supposed to envision a sustainable future when we can't envision? The term comes from the word symbiosis, which is derived from the Greek symbiosis, companionship, symbion, to live together, and symbios, living together, and bios, era of life of interconnectedness in a period. Put simply, it's an era of interconnectedness and companionship where life on Earth is once again in balanced coexistence with humans. This will involve changes in the ways how food is grown, how groundwater is used, how business is conducted, and more as we redefine what it means to be human. It does matter to have new words in our language. For example, first things like sustainability and sustainable development seem great in theory, but these are being replaced with more specific words to address them, like regeneration and degrowth. And it's not that the previous terms are useless because they are valid in their own ways, but what do they really mean? Well, with sustainability or sustainable development, what are we actually sustaining? If it's our current economic systems, we're sustaining the ongoing harm and extraction happening in the world today, that's not what we want. When we hear the term Symbiocene, we probably think of it as a warm term. I think about yellow, I think about flowers, I think about dancing, music. These are things that come to expressions when I hear Symbiocene, versus with Anthropocene, I think about doom, death, human extraction, human supremacist type languaging. And this is something really harmful for me to even envision what era is scene that we're currently living in. I'm going to give myself a shout out because I've already hosted 2 events in new series called the Symbiocene, which was I co-created. And these are the groups that are Generation Symbiocene that are picking up on these ideas as well. Glenn Albrecht, though, that coined the term, did call me out on Instagram for not accrediting him enough, even though it's been millions of times even in my work. And if you click on my blog articles, it always acknowledges who has coined the term. And I often felt like this pettiness that comes from academic spaces of wanting to gatekeep those terms is that maybe you should even create those terms if you don't want people to using them. And I think it was a really, I never really got a response back from Dr. Glenn Albrecht other than like he said that I did not give him a citation, and I felt a bit hurt from it. But that's usually how activists or even scholars of color are treated by white academic scholars, is that symbiotic relationships is not exclusively owned by him. In fact, a lot of indigenous communities taught us about symbiotic relationships. Was it that specific word? No, but their actions and their practices and their cultural oral histories is what the Symbiocene is. So to me, it's like, I will give accreditation to you always, but I also will give accreditation to indigenous communities that you probably are inspired by. Anyways, I'm not about that drama. I'm here for peace. What I really want you to all take away from this is that so much has to change to achieve social tipping points or system change that will make a symbiotic society in a reality of scale. These changes are happening in the small pockets around the world, but they won't occur in a time to prevent the worst impacts of the climate crisis. That's already happening, as we can see. Claiming the Symbiocene for ourselves can look sort of ways like local systems change, economic equality, racial justice, well-being economies, regenerative agricultural practices, community organizing, more responsibility for environments, and much more. And I believe that these are the major cultural shifts that need to happen to start embodying that future now. People aren't simply going to roll over when more crises happen. We've seen that as crises happen, more people actually get more fear of the future. People will have to respond to immediate threats and realities, which will engage more people. But I just hope that we can start changing things before that starts happening even more, because I'm very invested in preserving cultural communities, not so much the systems that have continuously plundered our ecosystems. Long story short, the Symbiocene is already being created by people that share a deep love for the earth. Our work now is helping to invite people to this heart space through culture, creation, and invention. If you're interested in learning more about the Symbiocene or even the events I helped co-create in London and New York and trying to produce it for 2024, please let me know, as we're always looking for potential funders to really fund the Symbiocene events that bring multi-generational conversations, and we're really trying to scale these event series up. But I also hope that you all really take away that the Symbiocene is for you. It's not for me, it's not for them, it's not for Dr. Glenn Albrecht. It's literally the ways that we're going to start embodying in this future, and I feel that pushing away from Anthropocene narratives that very focus on human supremacy angle, which I personally don't like, and we need to address the role of white supremacy. I think Symbiocene can be a really great way to envision collective societies of how they should start reintegrating those principles into their work. Thank you so much again for watching this video. If you love the Symbiocene, let me know your thoughts below. Should we continue using the term Anthropocene, or do you prefer the Symbiocene? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help support my future videos.